Somehow I feel my it's a little bit slow today. All right. All right. Welcome. And thank you all to our viewers from all across the world for joining us today on the 7th episode of our 10 limited series of Let's Talk Live with Sandy, where we bring awareness and give voice to survivors of domestic violence, as well as women and men who are looking for ways to become empowered in their lives. My name is Sandy Mack, and I am a certified health and life coach. I coach my clients on ways to become empowered after abuse, trauma, illness, or health, or any kind of life setbacks. So right now, I'm currently offering 2 more viewers the opportunity to have a complimentary 30-minute session called Step Into Your Greatness, where you will uncover 3 blocks of what's keeping you from your greatness. I've already done a couple of them a few weeks ago, and I have 2 more that I can do. So if you're interested, you can inbox me. I am the author of The Unwanted Wife, a #1 bestseller, and the upcoming prequel of The Unwanted Wife, The Ungracious Daughter, right here, is set to be released in late November. So before we dive into our topic and to introduce my guest, I would like to send my condolences on the passing of our queen, for all those who live in the Commonwealth countries, and and especially our viewers in England. Some may not be a fan of the royals. I am, and I'm very much impressed with the Queen's ability to have 70 long years of public service. That's one strong woman, and I'm sure that was not easy. So my sincere condolences to all. Now, for our main topic of transforming struggles into opportunities, and here to tell us all about this is my very special guest on Let's Talk Live with Sandy, my good friend, Sierra Clark from Florida. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, Sierra.
So for everything, Sandy, how are you?
Good. I want to, give you a good introduction to you. So Sierra was born to a Honduran grandfather. She's a beloved daughter, friend, servant, and light onto the world. She's brave, strong, fun, loving, and intuitive. Sarah is a community builder and takes great pride in being part of the village. That's really strong. That helps to raise adults and children. She is a motivational speaker, exhorter, health coach, and an author. She has spent most of her life caring for others and loves what she does. She's spontaneous and trusting, and she has over 20 years of experience in healthcare. And after writing her best-selling book, Finding Sierra, somehow she knew it was time to heal with her words. She wanted to make a more significant impact on others, on the lives of others. So she packed her experiences and passions and her ability to hear the hearts into her exploitation programs, stimulating and transforming the hearts of others. Sarah is spiritually aware that she brings light to this planet, and she has always been enthusiastic about others, about other growth and success in others. She loves when others are awakened to the beauty in themselves. And she's also the founder of Transformation Academy, designed to help others master and heighten their levels of self-communication. Thank you for being with us here today, Sierra. I really appreciate you joining me and being my guest.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here. You look amazing today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Yeah, and I'm just loving what you're doing. Empower you, because I just think it's a time that we know it's time for us to be empowered. So thank you.
For sure. So tell us a little bit more about yourself before I get into asking you all these tons of questions.
Okay. So about me. So I'm fun. I'm spontaneous. I'm really a super cool human. I really didn't always feel that way about myself for a long time. So this admiration of who I am and who I can become has really excited me. The the title of my first book, Finding Sierra, is true to his word. I had to find myself within myself. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's really what it was. Like I had to pull back layers of things that I identified with. So I became my own superhero. So I have like all these magical superpowers as an adult. And so it's
I
really
love it.
cool. And
I, I
and I
love
just
it.
want to, I'm in the business of hearing the hearts of people, because I can hear our fears because I've been mastered by mine for so long. And I know what it's looked like to cover it up and be dying on the inside. So I hear. And so I want to help people help themselves to free themselves of the made up stuff. That's what I call it in Finding Sierra. The MUS, the made up stuff, the made up things we believed or felt about ourselves, the imposter syndrome, like just all these things we've identified, and we forget to identify with the power that's on the inside of us. And so that Sierra now in this beautiful new nutshell, because I broke the old version of me.
I love it. And you know what, you and I connect so well. The first time we met, which I think it's almost 2 years almost that we met, and I had this passion for finding myself, and you had the same passion for finding yourself. And you just said something that kind of inspired me to bring it back again.
Mm-hmm.
Admiration for yourself.
Ooh.
You said that a few seconds ago, and I don't think you even realized you said you
Mm-hmm.
admire yourself. And
Yes.
so we don't do that. We don't
No.
admire ourselves. We admire everyone else. We admire
Mm-hmm.
people around us. We have heroes. We have people that we look up to, like I just mentioned, that the queen, for being such a strong woman in a
Right.
man's world. We don't admire that about ourselves. We don't admire how much we have done. And
Mm-hmm.
part of my coaching classes that I when I was doing my classes, and I'm still doing my mastery right now, part
Mm-hmm.
of that class is to step back and take an inventory of what we have accomplished
Mm-hmm.
in our lives and what we have accomplished even in the last year. And I went back and I was so almost like my mouth fell to the ground when I realized how much I have done in 1 year,
Yes.
right? So tell me, we decided, like for me, I decided that I want to put a smile on everybody's face. And I know that you
Mm-hmm.
have the same feeling. We want to make people happy. We want to make people feel good about themselves. So what will you do to put a smile on people's face, even though they're going through their struggles and their trauma?
What would I do to put a smile on someone's face, although they're going through the struggle? So I would first smile, because it's really contagious. It is the cheapest medicine you could give to another individual while giving it to yourself. Smiles and medicine. So first I would smile. I would lead by example, but then I would have to talk to the individual so I can kind of hear what's going on. And then I help them see the places that they can still smile in, although the thing is going on. We often only see the thing and we forget all the amazing other things about us, about our still existence, about what's still currently going on in the moment, although I feel crappy. And so I would get them to see beyond that thing, to see through it, to let them know that there was something still there to smile about, although you are experiencing this.
Absolutely. And coming back to our topic of, you know, bringing struggles into opportunities.
Uh-huh.
And you know, your example is like, you know, when we swam, I have a very good example that I did when I was struggling.
Uh-huh.
I started to volunteer because I put aside all my struggles and I went back into helping others. And I forgot about what was happening with me for that time that I was there, that hour, that 2 hours, or whatever that I was doing. And that became an opportunity for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And so it was kind of backwards for me. So this was what kind of really interesting about it. I had done so much for everybody else. So I couldn't find the joy or find the thing that made me smile outside of me. this was really an inside thing this time. It was Sierra against Sierra with Sierra. So how you would volunteer to do those things. It said that find something that makes you smile, but I had done all those things.
Right.
It was the overdoing in those things that was burning me out, that I lost myself in. So I couldn't no longer look without. It was really time for me to find it on the inside of myself. And that was more challenging than I thought it would be, because we have stinky thinking about ourselves. We don't communicate with ourselves. Like you said, we empower everybody else, but we forget to empower us. I could help people build their dreams. I could be the bridge over people's troubled waters. But for some reason, I didn't know how to effectively do that to myself.
For yourself.
And so now I was in this space, which I call the best space I could have ever been. And that was being broken into pieces. And I know it doesn't sound good. It didn't feel good, but that was the best opportunity, Sandy. Life has given me a lot of things, but that was the best thing it could have gave me, was to break me into pieces. So now I can be intentional on how I put myself back together again. The opportunity now to give unto me as I've given unto others, the opportunity to do what I'm so good at, because I could help people. So it was my first time and the best time that I was going to really decide to help myself.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was the best opportunity. And it's been changing since then.
And how did you tap into that creativity?
Oh, I didn't. It kind of just smacked me in the face, right? It literally just kind of smacked me in the face, because even in the process of writing, finding Sierra, I wasn't like some of the authors who always wanted to write a book. It wasn't even me. I have to give my spirit and divine alignment and timing the praise that it's due, because that's really what it was. It was the time. It was my enough is enough stage. I had pretended long enough. I was at the end of the rope of my nonsense, my excuses, my stuff, and who I needed to become was like banging on my soul. I had no choice. So there's the creativity looking at me, and it didn't look like creativity at first. It looked like divorce, bankruptcy, pieces, emptiness. It looked like all these things that we identified, but they became the best colors that I could ever paint with to make this beautiful masterpiece, right?
I love it.
Yeah, so that's how the struggles can be the opportunity. I'm not saying you're not gonna cry. I'm not saying it's not gonna hurt, because life hurts. Life will kick you when you down.
Yeah.
Life don't care, but that's why you have to care. This is why we gotta care about us. Because life is gonna life. Life is constantly evolving. When I'm no longer here, life will constantly be evolving. So
exactly.
When do I take charge, or when do I really play an active, conscious role in my existence, or the life that I want to live, and who it is that I want to be? Do I only want to be my fears? Do I only want to be mastered by these things that make me feel like a puppet, and I don't really smile? I'm pretending to smile. And I couldn't do that any longer. And so it was all bets on whatever this was. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I was going to fail my way forward. I was going to bump my head. I was not willing to ask questions and ask for help, and to say that I didn't know.
Yes. I mean, we all get challenges challenges are inevitable. It's part of life, whether it's challenges of times, people, or circumstances. Most of us can relate to come up against some kind of challenges or roadblocks in life that we feel it's hard or unfair, or even devastating times. I've had devastating times. And I was able to, crawl out of that devastating time in my life and make myself whole again. And find all the true colors, and find all the different pieces that I had to put together, and struggles of motherhood and job and bankruptcy and being poor and not having any money to feed my kids. And it was a lot of struggles. It was a lot of tears, but I did it. I made myself whole again. I pick up all those broken pieces, like you said, and I put them back together. Some of them I didn't want, so I threw them out.
Right,
You know,
right. Yes.
that didn't serve me any purpose. So, what
Mhm.
suggestions do you give to our viewers on dealing with ongoing challenges?
To see if they can change their perspective. I really think because what we see paints the picture, right? And our words play a significant part in what we think, what we see, and how we feel, because there's power in our tongue. There's power in our words. So,
Yeah.
though this is why I teach the art of self-communication, and we call it, it's the heart, but in the word heart is art, because there's your ability, your opportunity to paint any dark moment as bright blue as you want it. You could put a sunshine in any light. It's art. And so that's what opportunities are. So if they can change their perspective on how they see it, or that even in the storm, there is something to smile about, like we talked about earlier, but even in the things that cause us physical pain, there is something, like scripture calls it, that you can still count it all joy. You can still count it all joy, and to know that I can use this for something. Like this could be valuable. And so what I kind of get them, when I get them to change their perspective, is seeing the feeling or the emotion, the struggle, as a tool, because our emotions are gifts, really. God gave them to us as gifts to really help us navigate. We feel hot and pain because we know that it hurts. So that's an inkling right now to
Mhm.
pay attention, not
Mhm.
necessarily for you to only indulge in this one feeling while you got 1,200 different sensors on your body, but we'll feel pain, we'll feel sadness, and we'll feel loneliness, and we hone in on those things as if nothing else exists.
I
So I
know.
would give the viewer the chance and the opportunity to see a different perspective by challenging their perspective.
Absolutely. And how do we learn and grow from these challenges instead of having them trap us or swallow us up? Because I've seen people who allowed their struggles or the challenges to swallow them up into being who they're not. Like they
Mm,
forgot themselves.
yeah.
They've lost themselves in these struggles, you know?
Mhm. And that's exactly what it is. I call it identity crisis in Finding Sierra, because you definitely have an identity crisis, because we are designed the way that we are, and we should be reflections. Scripture also says that we were made in the image and the likeness. And so if I'm to see and reflect you and love you like Christ, at some point I see the reflection. And so when we can focus on intentionally being the reflection that we really want to experience, then we'll actually get that back. And so it then helps us to understand what it is that what we have control over and what we don't have control over, because it's okay to not know. It's okay to not know what's at the end, but enjoy the very moment that you're in, while also being mindful of what you expect at the end. So it's and again, so it's individual. So what I do is I give out individual prescriptions to people, because although you and I go through the same thing, we could watch the same movie, Sandy, and you're going to see something different from me. So this isn't the traditional cookie cutter copy and paste method
Yes.
that the traditional therapy people use, because I've gone to therapy, and it's kind of like a traditional method. Like I've seen at least three, and each of them kind of give you the same worksheet. They speak to you the same way. And so this isn't, I can't prescribe you what I'm going to prescribe one of my other clients, although y'all experience the same thing. You and I could talk about divorce right now. We both
Yes.
been through a divorce.
Mhm.
What we learned, what that opportunity gave us, because we cried, right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
hurt. It wasn't what we expected. When we said I do, we probably had our mind up to set that I do, and I meant this, to death do us part.
Right.
But something in life happened, as it will, if we allow ourselves again the opportunity to know that trials and tribulations are going to come. Things are going to happen, and
Mhm.
it's okay. It's a part of your human experience. So I really help people to really tune back into like their childlike faith, to know that it's okay to fall. It's okay to still smile. Like it's okay to to see opportunity and not just fears. We become adults, we become CEOs, we become goats, we become super moms and super dads, and we forgot the enjoyment of not knowing. We forgot the enjoyment of just running and playing. And
Yes.
now we don't see life as a game anymore. We see it now with all these rules and regulations, and we forget to enjoy
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Everything.
And how do we learn from that? How do we learn to grow from that and become, transformed in ourselves to move forward instead of feeling stuck? Because, and I'm using my experiences.
Right.
I lived in a shelter with my kids. That was a struggle. I used it as an opportunity to get to know my kids, what they love, because because what happened was, I lived with my in-laws all until I left with my kids, which was like 8 years. So my in-laws had a lot of discipline and a lot of rules that they set for the kids, how they wanted the kids to grow up, or how they wanted the kids to go to bed, or what time they wanted to get to go. So for me, I use it as an opportunity to set myself up with my kids the way I wanted my life to be. How I wanted to read to them at night, what I wanted to read to them at night, what time they needed to go to bed, what time was playtime. And so I use that as an opportunity to build a new life for us, a new structure, Yeah.
And I think that's what I help, the people that I can hear see just that. Like disappointment, it might comes and it feels like divorce, but that's what I would like to help them to see, if they could change their perspective about it. That very thing that is causing you resistance is for a reason. Like there is something there, either for you to learn, unlearn, let go, or grow. 4 reasons why it comes: for you to learn from it, maybe you need to unlearn something, or for you to let go of something, or for you to grow. It is all a gift, really. And we don't see that as a gift. We don't see even the death of our loved ones as a gift. We see them
You're cutting out.
hard times, but even in that, because there is life, and in oh no, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. So I just think really it's just helping them get back to the basics, and not their expectations, or the expectations and the assumptions, because we often feel like, because we're good people, why should it has happened to me? But life has principles about life. There's things that just comes with this human experience, because we are really spirit in this human flesh. And so I say that this is our vehicle. Flesh is really only the vehicle to navigate the spirit to go where it needs to go among the earth, right? And then I think because we see eyes and ears more than we see spirit, we identify with the humanness of us and not the greater and the spiritual, amazing, powerful beings that we are.
Yeah. And absolutely. So in order for us to move forward, I feel that we need to be honest with ourselves and to really understand what we want, how we want to understand that, and how we, how do we truly understand what we want versus what we need? Because there's like a big difference.
And you won't know if you don't allow yourself to experience. A lot of us, we don't know because we haven't had the experience. Some of us have said that we don't like Brussels sprouts, but if you taste Brussels sprouts, you might actually like it. So life is ongoing, and that's it. We get stuck. So it's to unstuck us. And life doesn't stop. Even when we're sleeping, the sun is setting, the moon is doing this thing. It is constantly evolving. We are the one that gets stuck in a space due to our outward complex, because our feelings only navigate the outward, not really our inward. And so it is just really changing the perspective and getting and the language around. And so even some words can hold us prison. And we don't often talk about, like you said, you really have to be honest. And that's why I say, like, nothing I needed to help Sierra in this time when I was broken into these pieces was gonna come from the out. This is what my spirit told me. It was like, what you need now is gonna come from within. It
Yes.
said nothing you were used to is gonna help you. Not even your old scriptures that you can recite like this was gonna provide you the rest with my soul that the scripture can. I wasn't getting that. This was a real new time and a new moment for me to experience. It allowed me to decide who I wanted to become.
Mm-hmm.
Use who I had been as the fertilizer
Right.
to
Yes.
make this
To
new
build
person.
yourself. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. To build a new you.
Yes.
Right.
And how dare I use the same old part, Sandy? How dare I use the same old mindset? If I got a chance to build it from the ground up again, then how dare I put myself back together again the same way?
That's right. You know, and as coaches, we help our clients to develop their own opportunities, right? So that's that, you use your struggles to develop your opportunities, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
to for me, like that's what I've done. I've used my struggles as being abused, being, in an abusive childhood, where I was abused as a child, where I was abused in my marriage, domestic violence. I've used all those things. I wrote a book about it. That was my opportunity. Instead of crying over spilt milk, I used it as an opportunity to write a book about it. Now, instead of just writing the book and sitting with the book and saying, oh, well, I wrote a book. No, I did not do that. I use it as a second opportunity to become a coach so that I can help women and I can speak up for the women who are afraid or who are still struggling with themselves, to help them to find themselves and to speak up about their abuse and to help them to find that voice within themselves and build their own opportunities.
And I really think that is why you exist and I exist, right? Yes. I have a saying that a better you equals a better me. That's and it started out that way until I started appreciating me, because a better me equals a better you too, right? And so when you are better about you, you put that out. And so I can connect with that. And so when I watch you stand up to the thing that knocked you down, I believe that's what scripture meant when it says we can look to the hills for which cometh our help. And so when I saw you stand up in it, you let me know that I could too. So we are reflections. And that's, I think, also where it goes with it's bigger than you, like it's more than just for you. Because when you get up, it's connected to somebody else getting up. It's really like a domino effect. And so we can absolutely stay there. But if we're honest with ourselves about standing in fear, wallowing in the struggle, dancing to the pity party, we can admit that it doesn't help us. It doesn't make us feel good. Yes. And no matter how long you stay there, the moment you get out, you're going to enjoy that so much more than the time you gave to that feeling. So I decided to give myself an equal opportunity. This was really about, if I could be scared, then what is it like to not be scared? If I could not feel good enough, what would it be like if I actually just let myself feel that I'm good enough? If I can invest in other people, what would it be like to invest in Sierra? Yeah. So I was just finally giving myself an equal opportunity, not to only just be mastered by the fears and the anxieties, when if our brain is our strongest muscle, Miss Sandy, literally yes. Everything in the world that we have came from a thought in someone's mind. And so we are creators. So if the world is going to create, and if I'm a creator, shouldn't it be time for me to be deliberate about what I want to create in Sierra's life outside of the sexual abuse, the mental abuse? So all these things happen. And if I can imagine, why am I only constantly imagining and recycling that story? Why don't I create another one and be creative and use my brain to see something different? If I can see that, then why won't I allow myself to see this? I'm worthy of seeing that. If I could cry, I'm definitely worthy of smiling sometimes, just sometimes. And the more I gave myself the opportunity to do that in spite of all these things, I realized that none of those things were really holding me back. It was my decision to focus more on those than I did that.
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's right. And that's the thing that we have to teach our women. Stop focusing on the struggles. Focus on opportunities you can find through those struggles. And
Yes.
openness, right? We talk about
Yes.
openness. When we approach life ready to open and
Mhm.
willing to move forward, that is exactly what we will do. The same is true for when we are closed and refuse to budge on any issues that are against us. We will be stay stuck in the same level of fever, right? How do we
Yes.
overcome this closed mindedness? We have to overcome it and allow ourselves to be open minded and willing to move forward.
I don't
Right?
think that one we can overcome, Sandy. I think that one is a realization you got to really have with yourself. That's the key to it all. That you got to really make your mind up. You got to be really intentional. And so even when I tried to be intentional, so I realized that there was still residue of all those things that I felt like was still trying to hold me back and make me recycle those things. So I had to become intentionally intentional because I had to put forth more effort to make sure that I just don't go in default mode, is what I call it, and answer to all those things again. And just because it's easy there. Oh, yeah, it's comfortable, but really I was uncomfortable. So is it really comfortable? And so those are the things I had to like really ask myself, Sierra, yeah, we can stay there. And to a degree, I was able to grow and bloom and really be a good part of me. But if I was going to allow myself to grow into being who I can become, I couldn't stay there. And
Yes.
so that's where you have to now decide. So that's one thing you can't just overcome. That's one thing you got to see face to face in the eye, and you got to deal with it and really decide what it is that you want for you. Because when you give yourself the opportunity to have this conversation with you, it then teaches every person, place, and thing. This is why how you communicate with you is so important. And so when you learn to appreciate you, when you learn to invest in you, when you learn how to communicate from all parts of you. So communication is communicating from every aspect, from my divorce, from everything that I've been through, not just talking. Often we allow our fears to talk. Often we allow the last experience to talk for the new experience. But when you give yourself a chance to know that, and I think this is what scripture means, and I like scripture because it's such a good reference. And so when it says that it didn't give us the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. We got the power and the love part, but we don't do a lot of focusing on you having a sound mind. And a
Fine.
sound mind is you knowing that, yes, I can say this, but is it lawful for me to say it? Allowing your whole body to talk and not just speak from your fears or your learned behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what communication is, communicating from all of you, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And
Yeah.
therefore you don't have regrets. And this way your love will feel like love, and your love won't come with damage. And then you won't bleed on the people who didn't cut you. Because oftentimes when we're in this situation, we'll deal with it. But then the next situation comes, we take out on the next
On the next
situation,
person. Yeah.
but they
Mhm.
didn't even do anything. And that's
Yeah.
unfair.
Yeah. I've
And
done
that's
that. I know
unfair.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's really unfair to you because that could have been the thing that you've been hoping and praying for.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and there it was here to help you, but because you couldn't healthily communicate with yourself, which then is going to teach you how to communicate with that. And then now you're stuck again. So
Yes.
that is why that one you can't overcome that one. That one you really have to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, enough is enough. I gotta learn to fly on my way down. You just gotta make your mind up. And for me, it was I got tired of going around that mountain of uncertainty. And then if I was gonna be uncertain, then why the heck am I so fearful? Like, no. So
Yeah.
I got tired of my own mess, and I
Yeah.
had enough. I had
Yeah.
enough.
So did I. And I had to find myself and I had to explore. So even like we go back to our inner child, our inner childhood, where we explore our environments, like little scientists, thirsty, wanting to grow, wanting to learn in new ways. And we're eager to ready to transform, when we're
Yes.
little. So over time, we become complacent and stuck as we're adults. Our spirits are broken, through challenges that seem unfair, things that are bigger than life itself. How can we dig out of that and ways to find ourselves and bring our spirit home to a place of wholeness?
Mm. So I think you gotta not take things personal. Like, you gotta not take things personal. Don't attach all of our feelings to the things that happen, and just hold it so matter factual. Like, you also got to take your time, because we deal with imperfect people. So we love imperfect people. The world is full with imperfect people that we put expectations on, or that we're looking for them to give us what we haven't even given ourselves. So it's really, again, the perspective. Like, it really starts with everything, and how you see is what you speak, and then what you speak is the picture you're going to paint. So again, it's all connected, and this is why you got to consider everything, not just the one thing that you're faced with. Yes, I'm faced with this, but what around it? Who's giving it to me? Are they healed and whole? So if
Right.
they're not healed and whole, then I might can't take you so serious, right?
That's
So I'm not
right.
going to take what you're saying to me and nail myself to the cross with it, when I see that you got unhealthy behaviors about you. And I think that's what they mean by hurt people hurt people. So why would I be so upset about that I see someone who has unhealthy habits for themselves? I'm not going to take what they intend for their words to be hurtful to really allow it to hurt me and me feel some type of way. So this is where you get to decide what it is that you want to take in, and what it is that you're not going to accept. Like, that doesn't belong to me. So don't take onus to these things that come and make you, and would try to make you feel some type of way. Like, this is where we can take charge. We can be empowered and know that that's not for me, and know that you have something going on. Maybe I need to pray for you. Maybe I need to help you. Or maybe I need to, Sandy got free one-on-ones right now. Let me connect you to her. But maybe that is your opportunity
To
to get
grow.
that person what they
Exactly.
are missing.
Yeah.
So then that's another reason. So
Yep.
again, it's always bigger.
It's an opportunity for that person to
Yes.
grow, to
Yeah.
find their clarity, to find their greatness,
Yes.
Yeah.
And everything is always bigger. It's always more than what we can see. Always.
It
And
is.
so if we take the time to reflect and not just react, right? We just reacting. We get mad, we react. And then it's just the straight reaction, and not thinking and considering and weighing things out, because we can't always take words back. And sometimes we say hurtful things to those we love the most, and words hurt. And so you don't get to take those back. So I just wanted to slow people down, so one, they can find themselves again, because we get lost in the jobs, and now this really entrepreneurial world and life, and now you're mastered by your success, and you didn't even enjoy your success. I want to enjoy everything about this life. I only get one chance at it.
That's right.
So I just decided to transform every situation, every person, place, thing, word that comes encounter with Sierra. It is going to work for my good, period. And that don't mean I'm not going to cry. That don't mean that I won't be fearful. I'm not saying that those things not going to happen, but I'm going to intentionally find something good in it that I can use, so I can bloom to my fullest potential.
Yes. And, obviously we have to close off soon, but for
Yes.
me, I feel that the university holds space for us. It holds that space for us to find what we need to find, those opportunities that we need to find. The university holds that for us.
Yes.
And we just have to look for it and find that clarity. And it could be something physical even. I have a very good friend who that I met her when I was doing one of the coaching sessions. I went to one of the live seminars, and I met her in the States, in Charlotte. And we connected right away in the lineup going into register. Her name is Flora. I hope she's watching. And her and I connected in things that we've experienced as a child, in our marriages and everything. And one of the things she says to me is like, every day she tries to find clarity. Every day she goes out for a walk and she tries to find that clarity, where she knows that university is holding that space for her to find that clarity. And one of the things that she does by trying to find that clarity is she picks a color in the morning before she goes out for her walk.
I love it.
She picks, like, say for instance, she'll pick blue for the day. Blue would be the color for the day. And as she walks, her mind would be clear of anything else, and all she's focusing on is looking for something blue everywhere she walked. And then by the time she comes back, she'll make a list of the things that she had found that was blue. And that's such clearance of your brain. Like, you're just clear. It's like meditation.
No, it's natural remedies that we can do with the little free things that life give us, right? And so that's what I do. It's intentional prescriptions, but using easy remedies and recipes that you can use just from the daily things that you can use to heal yourself, that you can use to help you in all of the situations.
And don't look at the struggles that you're going through as just struggles. It's opportunity to learn. It's opportunity to be in the moment, even though it might not be the best of moments. I'll give you another example of me being, when I first moved out of the shelter, I had nothing. I had one rocking chair and a tiny little TV like this. And we didn't even have a bed. We were sleeping on the floor. And you know what I did? I made tents for the kids. And I pretended that we were sleeping outdoors. Yeah. And it was an opportunity that I did for, and did you know that my kids didn't even know that we didn't have beds? Yeah, that's good. Because they thought to themselves, oh my God, we're living in a tent. We're sleeping in a tent every night. And to this day, my daughter, she has 3 kids now. And do you know she still does that? She makes tents and plays with her kids under a tent.
You made that one of the best moments for her. And that's so beautiful.
Instead of making it, oh my God, we don't have any beds. And so it's fun for them, right?
Yes. And so that's again our childlike faith. We forget to use our imagination. We no longer dream and we no longer believe. If anything is possible, why can't you have a different experience? If you choose to keep because each morning is a new day. Exactly. And if you give yourself the opportunity to not consider what happened yesterday and only focus on the blue things, only focus on the things that make you feel good, you will then forget about everything else that don't. That thing only exists because you're focusing on it. Other than that, it wouldn't be able to hold you hostage as much as it does. And I'm not saying it's just 1, 2, 3 fancy over, but the more you do it, the more it works. And then if it tries to come up again, you now have the tool, you now have the remedy to now tell it to get back. You can say, not today. Not today. Or do what I do sometimes. I drag them all with me. We scared today? Oh, my anxiety flared up, but I got stuff to do. So put your shoes on is what I tell all my family.
I love it.
Put your shoes on and let's go. It's many days I've gone out the door with tears in my eyes, but I know I no longer allow them to stop me. Why should they just stop me in my tracks and stop me from experiencing and loving and appreciating life? No. Come on, let's go.
I love it. Well, I just love talking to you. I can go on for hours talking with you.
Thank you, Miss.
And we thought we did connect a lot the first time we met. So I'm glad that we're doing this, and we're definitely going to do this again. I know you have a few opportunities coming up where you're going to be interviewing as well. So definitely.
I will. I'm definitely going to have you on. I got these 5 tips for effective communication. Do we have time?
Yes, for sure. We do. Yes.
Okay. So 5 tips to effectively communicate. And first, you must communicate with yourself, because how you communicate with you will teach every person, place, thing around you how to communicate with you. The king of the jungle roars. and every cricket, every eagle knows its presence. So how you deal with you is important. So one, to elaborate on your thought. Like, don't just speak from the surface level. Give yourself time so you can expound it out. Don't just say, I'm mad. Why are you mad? What made me? So elaborate on your thought. Two, stick to the facts. Stay to what's important, not be mastered by the feelings. Oh, you hurt my feelings, but stick to the facts. Why were your feelings hurt? Usually the person words, right? And so then three, leave your emotions out of it, like, because we'll bring the emotions in it. Try to leave your emotions out. And then four, give examples. So a person, like you gave examples of you being in the shelter, this helps a person relate to what it is that you're saying, because we feel things different. It could be the same word, you interpret something different from mine.
That's
So
right.
give examples, because sometimes people are mad and that person didn't even mean it that way. So give examples of why you're mad, and then that person can be like, yeah, I did it, or I did not mean that. And then five, affirm what it is that you're trying to say. Allow the person to repeat back and you repeat. So therefore it's no misunderstanding. And those are 5 tips to effectively first communicating with yourself and then with others.
Can you do me a favor? Can you put it at the bottom of the
Yes.
of the chats? I think there was a few chats on. I'm gonna get right to check the chats later on.
Okay, I'll type it in.
Put those 5 tips so that way we have them there as well, so we can share them with all our viewers.
Sure.
And thank you so much for everything, for being here.
I enjoyed you, Miss Cindy.
For the awesome interaction. I think it was great. We definitely need to do this again.
Yes, we will. And thank you for
everyone watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on a Monday night, and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, Sierra, for being with us.
Yes.
Have a great evening.
Thank
Bye.
You. Yes.